Every animal on Earth vanishes in an instant. The global soundtrack of life snaps into a haunting, total silence. Billions of people would wake to empty homes and the silence of missing pets. Within hours, the massive cultural infrastructure of zoos, national parks, and aquariums would be forced to close their gates forever. The disappearance triggers an immediate economic collapse. The global livestock and meat industries employ millions of workers. Look at the sheer scale of these industrial pens. Leaving them empty overnight creates a surge in unemployment that no economy can absorb. This initial shock isn't just a cultural or economic crisis. By losing all animals, we have unknowingly disconnected the primary life support system for the entire planet. The logistical crisis begins with our diet. 90% of humans eat meat, and a sudden mandatory shift to vegetarianism would leave global supply chains unable to meet the demand for plant-based calories. For many, the threat is a matter of immediate survival. Indigenous populations in the Arctic depend on wild animals as their primary source of food. In these extreme climates, the loss of wildlife leads directly to starvation. This chart of commercial activity shows the problem on a global scale. 4 billion people rely on wild fish for their daily protein. Without these catch cycles, the majority of the human population faces rapid malnourishment. Beyond the threat of immediate hunger, the loss of these species sets a biological countdown in motion, one that humans are not equipped to stop. Within the first month, the crisis moves from the livestock pens to the fields, targeting the crops we rely on for survival. This is the invisible engine of agriculture. Insects, birds, and bats pollinate 75% of food crops. Without this biological labor, plant reproduction effectively stops. Crops like apples and avocados rely on this to produce fruit. Without pollinators, these crates remain empty, and vegetables vanish from our food supply. Human technology cannot replace the sheer scale of biological pollination. As crops fail worldwide, the transition from a food shortage to mass starvation becomes inevitable. By the 6th month mark, Earth's waste management systems break down. Without the natural processing of organic matter, the planet begins to stagnate. Scavengers like vultures are the first line of defense against disease. Without them to consume animal remains, rotting organic matter piles up, creating a breeding ground for pathogens that quickly spread to humans. Beneath our feet, decomposers like earthworms recycle dead matter into healthy soil. Without them, topsoil loses its fertility and dies. As insect and worm tunnels collapse, the soil becomes compacted. This blocks water and oxygen, effectively suffocating the ground. Without these decomposers, the Earth essentially chokes on its own biological waste, leaving the planet's surface sterile and unable to support life. Within a decade, the surviving plant life becomes isolated. Without animals to act as seed dispersers, the forests stop expanding. Plants rely on animals to migrate to new climates through the digestion process or by hitching rides on fur. Without this critical transportation, vegetation is trapped in place, unable to adapt to changing environments. Human innovation also grinds to a halt. We lose the biological blueprints for future medicines, like the compounds found in viper venom or Gila monster saliva, used to treat heart disease and diabetes. Without animals to drive planetary expansion and medical discovery, the natural world and human progress are both frozen in time. We now enter the final stage of the timeline, the destabilization of the Earth's atmosphere. This diagram shows the symbiotic exchange of cellular respiration. Plants produce oxygen, and animals complete the loop by returning essential carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. When animals vanish, this constant CO2 supply is disrupted. The carbon cycle begins to stall, leaving plant life struggling to survive. Humans are biologically animals, and we share these dependencies. Beyond food and medicine, our bodies rely on complex microbiomes, often shared left and supported by the animal kingdom, to digest nutrients and maintain health. Without this biological foundation, our systems eventually fail. Our survival is not a separate achievement of our species. It is a secondary function of a healthy, animal-filled world. The final state of Earth is a barren landscape of ferns, fungi, and single-celled organisms, dominated only by the wind. The planet has effectively rewound its evolutionary clock, returning to the primitive, silent conditions of the Precambrian era. Protecting wildlife from habitat loss and climate change is a requirement for our own continued existence. Our survival is woven into the same fabric that supports every insect, bird, and mammal we are currently losing.